Welcome to Chamber Chats, a weekly series by the West Monroe West Washita Chamber of Commerce highlighting our valued members. As always, find out more about the Chamber and our members online at westmonroechamber.org. And now, this week's episode of West Monroe West Washita Chamber Chats.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris with the West Monroe West Washita Chamber, and this is Chamber Chats, filmed live at Delta Community College. This week we are proud to welcome Brady with Ascent. So Brady, tell us about Ascent a little bit. It's a gem of healing in our own environment.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, so Ascent, we're a local nonprofit agency. We were founded by local citizens in the Monroe area in 2012. And so we just celebrated our 10th year service to families in Northeast Louisiana. We provide a free in-home intervention program to kids. And so they're between the ages of 5 and 21, and they struggle with behavior issues or mental health issues. Our job is to go into the home environment and work with their families to help stabilize those situations and help them have a more successful overall outcome.
I got it. So the overall outcomes, what is the population you primarily serve there?
Right. So our program originated as a Medicaid waiver program. Got it. But over the last 4 or 5 years, the state has expanded that. So now any youth with any insurance in the state, if they have the behaviors to qualify, so again, those are behavior issues at school, behavior issues in the community, or mental health concerns, or maybe they've experienced an out-of-home placement at a mental health facility. Any of those kids that qualify can enroll in our program. And so again, the ages are 5 to 21, so it's a wide age range.
Right.
But our program is very individualized in our approach to each family's needs.
I see. So we did a ribbon cutting last year, and one of the things I was taken with is she'll have a piece of art on the wall.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Tell us,
dots. Reflect on that for a second.
Yeah, so we had purchased a new, it was a historic building in downtown Monroe. We did the historic preservation to that, and inside of that, kind of having a blank canvas, we were able to incorporate parts of our culture into just the aesthetics of the space.
Sure.
And in celebrating our 10th year service, we wanted to find a way to represent the number of families we've helped and been able to work with over the years. And so as a company, so we have an office in Monroe, we have an office in Houma. We have just recently served over 5,000 families.
Wow.
And so that is represented with this art piece on our wall. And so there's a little dot and some larger dots represent larger numbers, but there are a representation of each of those 5,000 families on the wall in our building. And every April we celebrate our birthday weeks, like our founding, and we take the new number of families for that previous year and add that number of dots to the wall. And so this year we'll add 909 new dots to our kind of living art exhibit in our kind of main hangout area. So
you're just expanding almost exponentially your service.
Right. Absolutely.
So you mentioned Houma. Talk a little bit about your staff, how they're structured and things like that.
Yeah, sure. So all of our field-based employees, their title is a facilitator.
Got it.
They're all bachelor's level educated people what we look for, people that have a heart for service.
Sure.
And so we're looking for character level employment where your passion is helping others. In Monroe, we have a team of 48 facilitators. They're currently serving 480 families in Northeast Louisiana. And so our geographic area is the 11 parishes of Northeast Louisiana. And right now we're serving 480 youth across those parishes.
So do you include Lincoln? So you go Lincoln to the Carols.
Yeah, Lincoln to the river, and then our southern border is Caldwell, Franklin, Tensas.
Wow.
And so
what a huge geographic region.
It's a huge area, but our mission is serving communities and inspiring change. And so inside of working with those families, we are hands-on in those communities. And so we have 50 youth enrolled in our program between Rayville and Winsboro.
Sure.
And so in those rural communities, we want to be just as involved as we are Monroe, West Monroe, Bastrop, Ruston.
Right.
But those facilitators are grouped into teams. Those teams are supervised by either clinical staffs, their LPCs or LPCSs, LMFTs, or all of our supervisors have a master's degree. And then, from there we have our leadership team. So we have our executive director's PhD in marriage and family therapy. And so that's kind of how we're structured. But really, we just look for people to have a servant-based approach to their work.
What I was struck by every time that we're there, and we've been blessed to be able to come several times, is the culture that you've cultivated in that environment. I would imagine serving that population, you could get easily burned out, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
And so having that culture that you facilitated, will you reflect on that environment and what y'all's mission is for your own employees?
Right. So, and there's levels to this, but inside of our kind of company culture, we have a company covenant, and it is the commitment that our company makes to our employees.
Sure.
And then there's that reciprocal expectation of how our employees are committed to our company and our mission and serving. But in that covenant, we want our workspace specifically to be a place of restoration, a place where our employees, when they're not in the field serving families, that they have a place to come and relax and recharge, connect with each other, and what we just call community. So we have targeted, planned experiences between staff where we create like this organic workplace environment for them to connect, and we call a one life principle. So it's like one of our employees has her wedding tomorrow, and they're members of our staff in her wedding party, and they met at our company, and that is not an uncommon thing. So we have people who met at our work and they're married now. But there's this common kind of principle of we want to have a family environment within our workspace, because in addressing potential burnout, working in mental and behavioral health with high-risk kids and their families in these communities, we want our employees to understand that they're valued. We want them to feel that connection to not just the work that we do, but there's a team of support in your office environment, so where you can lean on each other in times of need. And we hope we're doing that well. We think we have a really good beat on it, but again, it is tough battling burnout when you're working in such a high-risk kind of environment.
Yeah, I read that many social workers and people in that industry are washing out by the time they're 40. And that's when they've amassed this critical experience that they can lend.
Right.
So I applaud you guys for looking at it in a holistic way that both includes the staff as a continuum of the services that you have. So that piggybacking on that, I love your enthusiasm for what you do, but what brings you joy?
Man, so my background's in public education.
That's right.
And so I felt that my mission in life is helping kids.
Sure.
And I had great teachers that helped me when I was coming through that time, and I wanted to do that and had a great experience at the school that I taught at and coaching young athletes. But now doing the work I do at Ascent, I'm no longer in the field. I'm in a more of an administrative role. It is finding ways for our company to expand our influence and our presence, because if our enrollment increases and we're serving more families, then we're having a greater impact.
Right.
And then inside of that, we can help find needs in the community that we may not have known about before, and maybe they're outside of our scope of support, but maybe we can write a grant to help reach those needs.
Or work with a community partner.
We can partner with other community agencies to reach those needs. And we have some really fun projects we're currently working on at local schools and at local community centers that we're really excited about, that aren't really inside of our scope of practice, but there are ways for us to continue to have a positive influence on our community because of our enhanced and kind of expanded influence.
Love it. So how does the community find out more about Ascent?
Yeah, so on Facebook is kind of our main social media. It's just Ascent Monroe. Or you can go to our website, which is ascentlife.org. The fun thing about our program is if you're a family that feels like you could benefit from our program, you can self-refer. So you don't have to be referred by a primary care physician or a mental health professional. A family in need can just go to our website, ascentlife.org. There's a tab at the top for referrals. You would click on Monroe or Homa, whichever office you kind of live in that area, and then it's all right there. It's a free entry field referral form that goes straight to our office in Monroe. Our people handle all the legwork from there. So I would say our website, ascentlife.org, or our Facebook page, Ascent Monroe, to kind of follow what we're doing and how we're hopefully having a positive impact on the community.
And you mentioned self-referral. The last thing I want you to talk about is, I think there's a stigma about mental health so many times. What do you think is the number one thing that you'd love to elucidate that's a stigma around this accessing your services?
Right. Yeah. I think that, what we tend to see a lot is families who are uncomfortable reaching out for support because they don't have experience receiving support, especially now that our program is open to kind of private insurance demographics. They're used to like copays and deductibles and how much does this cost, and understanding that our program, there is no monetary cost for a family to enroll on their part. And so that idea of how do I reach out for help? And so what we try to pride ourselves on is we want to be a resource for families that even if they reach out to us for help and maybe they don't qualify, we still will give them someone to reach out to. So maybe your youth behaviors didn't qualify for our program, but here's another community-based program that you could benefit from that maybe you just weren't aware of.
Right.
And so like a big part of our outreach every summer, we do the Community Connections nonprofit fair.
Yeah.
We had 50 nonprofit agencies there this year, and the real kind of goal of that is to just help people understand the resources that are available to them.
That's right.
So even if they aren't, maybe our program isn't the best fit, we still want to be known as a place that helps connect families to services or to community programming or to community support, or even if it's help within their schools. We want to be known as an agency that is here to do that work and to be reliable and consistent. And I hope that's where we have kind of made our mark, and we look forward to continuing that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about Ascent, the scope of work, and how to get involved. For more information on Ascent, of course, you can see their website, or you can find information on any of our members at westmonroechamber.org. Stay tuned for next episodes of Chamber Chat while we continue to highlight members and our board.